Alrighty. So no football. All-Star game is not that interesting right now. So let's answer some questions since the markets are closed anyway tomorrow. Anybody want to go first?
I just signed
Sure.
up, so I'm just wanting to find out how does the process normally go? Like, is there like a daily, trade session, live trade session, or is this only every Thursday? Because I'm just trying to read up.
Okay. The pros, if you go into the Discord, if you go in their tabs, they have individual tabs, and they also have events all the way at the top of it. Doo-doo-doo. And you'll have them also in a channel. They're listed out as schedule, and that's under Pro Investor. It says live session services. So if you go there, you can see Alpha that he's got written out, checker services. He sends them to the his website. Alvaro does go live usually Thursday to do charting sessions and for the next day and what have you. Curtis will do one-on-ones and he goes live, so it's all there on those people. You'll see some impromptu study sessions like this. Like if I get enough questions, like for myself, and they all on a similar topic, I'll schedule one just to talk about it. Um, so I've done those in the past. Mario, I think we'll start going live probably Tuesday morning. So he has that under his tab as well. So everyone's got their little different thing. And occasionally you'll see groups of people do a separate Zoom. They just want to get together and chart and talk. So like Selena or Pretty or someone else, they'll throw a link out there where they'll get together a lot of times on the weekend or some other day and they'll get together, people chart, talk, bounce ideas off.
Okay, so does Chris ever do a live session, or is this just like other coaches?
Well, those are what we call pros. So that you're calling coaches. So you have in the Discord, you have Chris, obviously himself. He does not go live. What he'll do is put out his levels primarily for Spy and Tesla before market open. So he'll put that in the announcements tab. He'll drop in the Discord. Sometimes lately he'll drop in whenever he has time. Um, he tends to be more lately in the long-term investors tab, but he will jump in the stock and options in the main tab. Or he'll put out announcements in the middle of the day if something's important. The pros, like I just repeated, that's what you're calling the coaches, I guess, so to speak. Um, they'll go
Yes.
ahead, they'll go ahead and go live, and then you have the scouts, like myself, Sean the Wolf Harris, D Fresh, other guys. You can find all our stuff under Scout Moves. That's where we'll post mostly. We'll do setups, or if someone's doing a live, they'll post it there or in the main chat as well. So there's a bunch of us.
It is.
Okay, thank you.
Is
Yeah,
it
no
just a
problem.
question and answers? Is it just a question and answer thing?
Hmm.
Oh,
Hello.
Okay, next question. Somebody, you guys can unmute yourself one on one, and if you're not like speaking, please try to keep it muted so it doesn't disturb others and you're talking to someone else. Go ahead. Sorry.
I can
Someone
go
had a
ahead.
question.
If I think it was Eric or something had a question. If not, then I can go.
Okay, go ahead.
How you doing, Face? So we were kind of discussing of the scaling out. If you want, you could use like the example that I had worked on. It was just an or position, just an or position on Apple on Friday. And then so I just went off that and then I exited my full position like at I think it was like 3R. And then you know how like you were saying you got to scale out like as you're reaching uh like better multiples of risk to reward or whatever. So if you could just go over that.
Okay. Give me one sec. Someone's messaging me. Okay. You want to see, what was it? Apple, right?
Mhm.
On what, Fridays?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give me a second and share my screen. Give me. Okay. Why is Zoom being slow? You guys see my screen?
Yeah.
The trading view chart?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know why it's like acting funky on my side here, but okay. Anywho, all right. We want Apple. Were you? What time frame were you trading on?
Was on the 1 minute.
In the 1 minute. All right. Let me take all my other junk off. Uh, okay. Here we have Fridays.
Yeah, so all the way in the beginning. And then
Oh, I went too far there.
yeah, too far. You had it.
There. It's Thursday. And we should get Friday's candle right. Let's
A
see.
little bit further right.
Yep, right there is where you're starting. Okay. So you're starting here. How were we? What setup are you doing? The 5 minute orb?
I did the 5 minute orb, and then you see that second red candle.
Yeah, let's mark it up and make it easier so
Mhm.
everyone can see what we're talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's about right there. And we're tapping right there. So that's your 5 minute ORV, right?
Right.
Let's pop it in here so everybody knows in case they watch. Okay. That's your orb. So you didn't mark off anything else, right?
No, that's all I had. Well,
Okay.
just an VWAP, but
Okay. So your question was you came in on what? This candle right here?
I went in as soon as the one after that. Yeah.
Let's make it this way so everybody can see it clearly. You went in on this one?
hmm
Okay. So let's say you went in on right there, right? Oh. You got in at the close of this candle. Where'd you
Kind
put
of
your
like
stop?
halfway up, but yeah, it's fair enough.
Okay. We can slide it down, not a big deal. Where'd you put your stop?
I put it under just that yeah, that
That
one.
wick?
hmm
Okay. So we'll say here.
Yes.
Okay. So from here, that's more or less a 1. You drag that out. So that's your
Actually,
one R.
I think I had like a super small stop actually, just the one that broke through. So yeah, like around
Maybe here.
uh yeah, about there, yeah.
Yeah, you were pretty tight there. But
hmm
yeah, which is fine if you're scalping. I mean, as long as you respect it, that's why I say figure out where you're going to cut your loss first. So
Sure.
you would hit 1R here and off of this break right there because you're at 1.03 if everybody can see. Okay. So for those that are new, the risk to reward ratio actually, that's a 2R. Sorry.
hmm
Right here. Your 1R would have been down more or less here, which is good. Okay. So your question is how to scale out of this?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's put another one on. So it's a little bit easier to see and understand here. Uh, I should do. I don't know. Were you doing what, contracts or shares?
Yeah, I did. Well, I'm only paper trading for now, so I did contracts. I did I had just one contract on there,
Okay, that's fine.
but I have started to work with two, and then I might start doing three. Um, just I was messing around with the position sizing earlier today, and I think I can do three contracts on there now.
Okay, that's good. So we're gonna do it like this, stagger them so everybody can kind of see, and it's easier. So there's your R's, right? This brings me to a good point. You said you were using one contract. This is one of the reasons a lot of times people will see me in the chat and that are new that have small accounts. I got $100. I got a $500. When can I start options? Well, number one, your account's very small. So how much was your contract?
My contract, I think it was, oh, like the price. I think it was like 250 or something like that.
Okay, 250, right? Now
Hmm.
$250 saying someone who's new that's got $500, that's 50% of your account, right?
Right.
And the question is, what are you risking, right? You're risking this. I don't know, even though it doesn't seem like a lot on here because we look at shares, that's about what you entered, let's say 243.26, and you're say 242.82, right? We're just gonna call that a dollar, just for rounding sake. So you're risking a dollar to gain a dollar. Now, what everyone gets wrong is when you figure out an options contract, it's not a dollar, obviously, right? You look at the delta because that tells you how much that contract's going to move when the stock price moves a dollar. So what was the delta on that contract?
I'd have to check. I think
Roughly.
it was probably it was at the money or like around there, so around a point 0.5, I'm guessing.
Okay, zero point 0.5. We'll take zero point 0.5 for example. So I moved a dollar. That means your contract's going to lose 50 cents. But every time you see the cents in there, right? That's really times 100. So that's $50. So
Hmm.
you bought a $250 contract. So let's throw this on
You
here.
okay?
Give me one sec.
You good? No. Oh, is it their anniversary show tonight, huh?
I don't care about your anniversary show. Um, I was like, huh, what? Had me all confused there for a minute. Okay. Let me do one thing. I'm going to. I got a bunch of different stuff I do. I'm trying to get the position calculator up. Give me one sec. And unfortunately, my file has other stuff and other people's stuff, which I don't need to show everybody. Okay. So here's the position calculator. Don't mind all the extra garbage. I'm always plugging in, calculating different stuff. So this is the one we use in small accounts. Okay. Primarily for swinging shares. You can do the same thing with your contract. So you had what? Apple up here. So I'll put Apple up. This is your risk tolerance, right? This is based on how big your account size is. You said your paper trading. How big is your account on your paper trade that you're working with?
Give me one sec. I think like 4,000.
Okay.
Let me just double check that. Time. Yeah, it was like about 4,300 before that.
Okay. We're gonna leave it at 4, just for math's sake. Make
Okay,
it
yeah.
easy. Okay. So, your entry price here, since your entry price here, we're not going to use the stock price. We're going to use the contract price. Okay. But actually, you could do it. So you entered on the stock price. So we're going to put stock price. We entered, what would we say, 243?
I
Stock.
actually have the details if you want them. It was actually 134, and then I had a stop of
Okay, give me one
20
sec.
cents.
Stock price, stop And we're gonna put enter. Okay, so we said 243, right? Is our for example. I think that's what we said. Yeah, more or less. We're gonna round it just to make things easier. Or you could say 242.80, 243.25, more or less. So 243.25, and we'll make it 242.80. Okay. So this is what we said based on the chart, right? This is for Apple. We're gonna enter here, 243. We put the stop 242.80. So this is what I asked when I say risk to reward. So this is my risk. What am I risking here? Enter minus the stop, right? So that's on the stock price. Now from here, if I was going to plug it in, you could do that, which is what I'm going to do right here, just to show you guys how this works. Stop price 242. You could put it in here. The ATRs I use for when swinging, so that's why I'm not dealing with that. So we can, leave that out for now. So what this is telling me is you're risking how much now? 45 cents, right? That's the
Mhm.
difference between here and here.
Is that
Total.
$45 face?
I'm sorry?
Is that $45?
No,
Overall.
45 cents. We entered at
Over.
243.25 minus
Right.
242.80 is where we place the stop based on the chart.
But I think
Okay.
wait, one second. I think I'm always confused by the fact that it's 100 shares.
Well, we're going to get to that. And
Okay, cool.
that's, you're not trading under shares. You have control of 100 shares.
Right.
Okay. There's a difference.
So with
And
the
that
risk
comes
of,
in. So yeah, so that's why I'm going to show you on the share side. Then I'm going to
Okay,
show you
cool.
how you convert this to figure it out on an option.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's give 1 second. Stay with me here. So we risk 45, right? This number here, all this is doing is taking your portfolio size, whatever it is, and your risk. I had put 0.25. You can go 0.5. I was doing it was a not the greatest setup with all the choppiness, so I had a lower risk of the portfolio in there. So let's go 0.5. Okay. That means your account can what? Lose 20 bucks, which means what? That's a 0.5%. Okay. Everybody got that? So if you're going to take this up, like we always
Yes.
say in the Discord, you don't want more than 2. The reason we have this, because a lot of times I will do it. You will see Mario do it when he posts, that we scale up on our positions on swings. So that's why you see 0.51, 1.52. So we'll enter a position and we start seeing it go in our way. We'll increase this from 0.5 to 0.1 to 1.52. Occasionally, I'll even go more if it's really moving. But let's go and keep it nice and easy. 2 in there. So 2% loss, right? So 2% of 40 of 4,000 is 80 bucks. That's all you should be risking. That's what you're calculating based on your account side on a trade. On this trade idea, which is this area, we just figured out. Everyone with me? Total risk to portfolio. Total risk right here on the trade. Everybody with me so far?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you see it kicked back. All it's doing is calculating from here. It's all formulated. And it's calculating out how many shares I could buy based on a 2% risk, not losing more than $80. And then it's taking this information and saying, okay, you can buy up to 16.44 shares and be within my risk tolerance here. If I change this, you'll see the share number change as well. Watch. I'm going to drop down to 1%. And why is it not changing? Oh, I'm still within realm, I guess. Okay. It should. Or why are we not changing? Doo-doo. Well, that's not good. Yeah, there we go. That one works. I must have kicked something off the formula. Okay. Uh, doo-doo-doo. 2, 4. Let's just redo this real quick. Okay, I guess it does not matter because it's really. Oh, because I have plenty of room. Okay. So based on the risk here, let's go back. You have total risk in dollars on this trade, which of what? $7.40 is what it's doing. It's taking this risk, taking that number, and saying, okay, you're risking 740. That's what I'm getting kicked out on this trade. This would be a 1R trade. This would be 2R. This would be 3R. So basically, all it's doing is taking your entry price and adding 1R there, adding it twice here for 2R, adding it there for 3. If you notice, this is how I make sure I get my risk to reward ratios right. And on this previous play, which I did, I had 15 shares on this trade. So what it was doing is I was saying, I'm taking majority of my position off at 1R. Then I scaled out at 3. Then I scaled out my runners at 2. So now if you're going to do this with an option contract, let's move all this stuff over to the right.
He doesn't have to know the last fucking calories. This isn't a joke, Danny. This brings over.
Okay. Okay. So now we're going to switch this same concept for an option contract. How much was your contract?
My contract was 140. I'd say that, or just round it up to 150.
Okay. We're going to get 140. Okay. Now you entered here and your delta was what?
Probably around 0.5.
Okay. So we're going to put your delta is 0.5, right? Between here and here is how much of a move? 45 cents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you do 45, so you're moving almost half of this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Because each of this represents $1. So if you're risking $1, you would, let's say, here, risk, we're going to say $1, and I'm going to show you something. This is how you properly set your stop. What is that telling me? Everyone I see do is, oh, just put a stop at 10%, put it at 20%. No, because the market doesn't care about your percent because it depends on your contract. You should put it according higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, pivot points. Because if it comes back here, he's saying he's going to get stopped. Why a percent won't really work? Your delta is 50, right? Let's play the percent game. How a lot of you guys do in the chat. You guys, what does most people say? I think like 20%, 30%. They say cut it. So that's $28, right? 20%. So you're going to cut it at 28%. That means you're going to cut the contract at $112. Correct?
Yep.
Based on the percentage way. Now, if I'm risking $1 move, but my risk really is what? 0.5. So let's put 0.5 in here. How much am I actually risking?
23.
Exactly. You see how it's a little bit more accurate? Granted, it's not much. I get it on this particular thing, but a lot of people will say, "No, I'm going to let it drop down further." Say your whisk was wider. I'm going to say down here. I'm going to say, what is that? Let's call it 241.66. Okay. So 241.66. That's a $1.50 move, right? The daily ATR, what is it on Apple? Running about 621. I'm looking at my ATR indicator down here. That's where I'm getting that. So it's about $6 right now. Okay. So we're gonna say $1.50. So based on that, if you did the percentage way,
I took away that was a little.
we're gonna have $1.59 based on a 50 delta. That's $80. Okay. So if you do a percentage now, what is that? That's gonna be nearly what, 45%, I think. No, maybe more. 50. About 50, almost 60%, if I'm mistaken. Yep. So it's probably like 57.5 or something. Yep.
That's a lot.
So now you're talking almost 50, 60% to get your stop in the right place. You following me so far?
Yeah.
So what would happen if I did a 10, 20% like everybody does? You'd probably get wicked out real fast, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Right? So you take the loss and then it kept going in your direction. That is why I don't go by percentages. I look at the structure and say, hey, if it comes down here, maybe it comes down here. The reason I said down here, because I can see here, looks like a level where price is respecting. Pushed up with good volume, came down, and bounced right out and shot it. So for me, it's like, hey, if it breaks down under here, it probably going lower. I don't want to be a part of it. But that's why I don't go by percentages. Oh, just put a 20% stop loss and let it go. No. Figure out exactly where it should be. Because the market, this percentage will change depending on your contract. What if I had a $250 contract? You see how the number changes? And then your percentage also is going to matter too. Now. So that's why I do it the way I'm showing you now. Oops, what did I do? I put 1400.
I have a
So,
question.
yeah.
Is this being done on the fly? Markets open, you open up the position calculator and you start entering your information before you make your entry. This is pretty much the process before doing that. If so, how does this process not affect when or at what point you do enter because of how, the time it's consuming a little bit of time?
Okay. Good question. And it goes back to my question when I asked him what his entry was and what he's looking to trade. What's the plan? Sounds cliche. You've seen me say it 1,000 times in the Discord. If I primarily would go through all this on a swing, right? Even on a scalp, I'll figure it out. But honestly, just because I've done it so long, I kind of know, and I'll do it just by this indicator or by eyeballing it on the chart. So for me, I may have taken it as a scalp. I probably would have put my stop loss there, and I'm going to look to ride this until I see it start to pull back and reverse on me. So then
Okay.
I will use an indicator like this to just figure out where's my 1R, 2R, where's my 3Rs, like I have it here. And if I see it start hitting those, I'm gone. I could care less, honestly, then if this thing shot to the moon from here.
Mm. Yeah, because you already made profit. But now, my next question, because you've done this so much, obviously you have a repetitive muscle memory. Therefore, should people that are new, like myself, or beginners, should we just like do replays or, I guess it's called back testing and kind of use the position calculator to familiarize ourselves, kind of like, okay, I see what this is doing. This would have been a good entry. And the more we do it, then in real time, it gets easier, correct?
Absolutely, it does.
Okay.
That's part of the reason we have the small accounts challenge because this is much easier to grasp, get that muscle memory, get your steps down quickly with shares than it is with options. On options, if you did this on Friday and that was the same day expiration, this thing already pumped on you between here and here, just so you know. Then it probably dipped a good 5-10% on you down here when it came down on this two candles. So for options, particularly on those 0 DTEs, 1 DTEs, anything probably within a week, it's going to move pretty quick. That's why we tell newer traders that if they're adamant about doing options, pick longer dated. Because to do it the right way and have all this kind of like figured out, it's going to take you a minute until you get used to it and you can do it quicker. Like as slow as I'm going right now, I would have been had this, somewhat figured out. And the other thing you should realize too is I don't figure it out at that moment. I'm not figuring it out when the market bell opens. I'm night before market opens, even actually weekends, I'll figure out what ones I want to target that look like good setups. So after this close here, I'm up the night before looking at the chart going, well, if it breaks above here, I'm going to go long. If it breaks down here, I'm staying out because I think she's going to keep dropping. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like I walk in the chat and be like, hey, what are we going to play today, guys? No.
Right.
I have it figured out what I'm going to do. Now, if
Yeah,
I'm scalping, like in this situation, I'll look at a particular ticker and be like, if I go here, I'm going to go to the 30-minute.
you pretty much set yourself up for the win.
I'm going to go to 30-minute. This is what it looks like on a 30-minute to me. I use MAs and Anchor VWAP. We're not going to get into that for right now, but based on what I can see, it held, bounced off of there, took out that VWAP. She's pumping higher. So the night before, if I'm looking at this chart, I'm be like, you know what? It's a pretty good chance that the momentum keep going and go long. So there's my bias. I actually start from weekly and dailies, even. I'll look at here. What has it been doing? Okay. Am I really going to try and short it when it's pumping up? No, that's stupid. I want the trend. I want to ride the wave. I'm not trying to fight it. So I will start weekly, daily, drop down, lower time frames. Let me see what I see. This is how I get my bias. Oh, you know what? Apple looks like a good setup for me to go along when market opens. I come to market open. Guess what I'm looking for? I'm not in the chat asking, what are we playing? I'm already going, okay. My go-to, like Diego said he's playing the 5-minute ORB. Here's my trade setup plan. I'm going to mark off my 5-minute candles area or the 5-minute candle, whichever way you want to do it. Same thing. And I'm going to be looking to go long on Apple. There's your trade.
And you ignore the extended hours?
I'm going by his trade setup, but personally, I actually do use pre-market to mark off my levels. I went over that in previous videos in class, so I will have it marked off when I trade. I will have this point marked off here, pre-market high, and then I will have my pre-market low, which is right there, I believe. And that's how I'll have my chart marked up before market opens.
Thank you.
I didn't put it on there because it was kind of his trade the way he was setting up, so that's why I wasn't doing it. So I'm going to take those back off. Okay. So I got a trade. I got a plan. That's what I'm looking to do. Just like Diego said, he saw the price action. He took it. Right? Question was with the contract. If you're only doing one contract, this is very hard to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at 140. We figured out the delta risk is about 50 cents. You're risking 160 and then, yeah. So 80 cents. off a $140 contract, right?
No, I think something got messed up. I was risking like
Let
20,
me see.
like $20.
50. You were risking $20, but this is where your stop should have been based on what you told me here.
Or isn't that what you're risking at the swing low from the big red candle,
What do we
not the like
figure?
50
Oh,
cent?
because I said on that other one.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Going back and forth talking. You are probably correct, sir. What did we
no,
say
you're
this
good.
was? 242.75, I think. Yeah. I think you're right, because I said, okay, if I took it from the swing low. Yeah, about 50.
Mm-hmm.
So your delta was 50. We're risking 0.5. So 0.25.
Yep, about right.
So you'd be risking $25 is what this comes out to, right?
Sir.
Yeah. Exactly.
Your contract premium was 140, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna put 140 here. You're risking $25. So when that contract where you put your stop loss, when it hits 115, if you want to give it a little more room, 114, you're gonna cut it. So this is what you're gonna be looking at when on your Robinhood, say you're using or whatever, Webull, when that contract you bought for 140, it gets down to 115. That means his trade came down to here where we said, hey, Diego, you're wrong. I'm going long. Cut it. Everybody with me on that? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is how you figure it out. This is why you don't go by percentages. And for this one, let's see. It might work. It might not. What am I doing? Let's do this divided by percentage. There. That's about an 18%. So if you maybe did a 20, it would have worked that day. But it doesn't work every day. This is a more precise way of actually doing it. So now you're risking $25. You can risk, so let's see, entry on 140. All I'm doing is using the contract prices instead of the share prices. So we figured when it gets to 115, that's where we're going to cut it. So that's our new stop price, right? So if you adhere to your stops, it's saying shares, but you can basically we're doing contracts. Contracts to buy, 3.2. And you're still within your risk tolerance. You see how that's working out?
Yeah.
So now it's telling you total risk in dollars is 80. This trade is going to cost you 448. This is your capital being used, not your risk. Everyone messes that up in the Discord. Capital being used for trade. This is your risk. This is your capital. If you got stopped out in this trade with 3 contracts, you're still not going to lose more than 2% of your portfolio. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
So, and when you do it this way with the calculator, the same way the Excel spreadsheet is, since I got my R's, now it's going to figure out the contract, right? So it's telling you when that contract gets 165, you hit 1R. You hit 2R when you hit 190. You hit 3R when it hits 215. So let's go here. One contract, one contract. If you did 3 contracts and you hit all of them, you would have had $570.
Nice. And then subtract that from the total investment.
Yep. So it'll be this minus your initial capital you put on. There. You see how that works?
Yeah. Looks cool.
So on that trade, you probably would have been able to, even though you're paper trading, your portfolio size, based on what you told me, could handle 3 contracts. The problem comes into when people have much smaller contracts and they're like, oh yeah, I've seen guys flip it. Sure, you can. I have a $500 contract. If you do it the right way with the risk tolerance, I can't even buy one. You see that? Let's go to 1,000. I still can't. Right there is where I can buy one contract. One.
Yeah,
But the problem with doing one is you can't scale out. What are you gonna do when you see the trade? You're gonna be trigger happy because you can only afford one. Right? Oh, we hit it. Boom, cut it. No, if I have 3, I might even let that one contract go. Bring my stop up to the 1R when I see it push up here. See it right here? It's pushing. I might say, hey, you know what? One contract, I'm going to bring my stop right there. This way I'm guaranteed a 1R. And if you noticed, if I put it right there, I'm going to put a line. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Right at the top of that 1R. That's my 1R, right? I don't want to close it. I have multiple contracts. So this one, I'm going to move my stop up to that line. Guess what? It never tapped it. It went higher. Got me my 2R. Ooh, nice. I see it pumping still. You see it? It's clearing. I'm still didn't close it, which is something you can do once you get, good enough. You'll notice these things. Guess what? Oh, I see another swing point. Looks like right there. More or less. Let's just put it right there, for example. I'm moving my stops up on all my contracts. Mind you, I haven't taken any. What I'm doing is locking them in. And if you notice, it took out my 3R. So right here, when price got up to there, I might, at this point, I'll tell you what, if I had 3 contracts on, I'm taking 2. So now I took 2 contracts off at 3R. I'm going to leave that last one up. I'm moving all my stops up right here. So in case this decides to do one of these moves, not touch my line, and just go, I still got a contract left. If it comes back and taps it, I'm out. I still got a 3R trade still.
Is that what you call a runner?
Yes. That's what I call a runner. But if you notice what I did was, either you can take the trade off, which would be optimal, take the risk off, take at least that 1R off, leave the 2. The other 2 that I got left, I'll manage those in the way I mentioned here, especially if I see price action moving. If I see it moving, I'm like, you know what? It's bouncing from right here. I'm going to let this go. What I'm going to do is drag my stops up where I showed you to the white lines to lock it in. In case I'm wrong, kicks back, no big deal. I still got a 2R trade right there. I still got a 3R trade up here. This is what I mean. This is what I mean about being systematic, having a plan. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you a question. Like on Tesla, if you do the 5-minute ORB on that also, because it kind of moves a lot, And
does not. It works on any stock, any any ETF. It will work.
It just seems like that. Well, I don't know. It just seems like if we did it on the ORB on the like a 5-minute, and you go, okay, I was going up, but it seemed like it would go like through that 5-minute. I don't know how many times,
And those are the days. Those are the days you learn to stay out of it.
Mhm.
When you see it playing with the 5-minute opening range of break like that, stay out of it.
Okay.
Wait for a solid good break, or just leave it alone completely for the day.
Okay. So kind of when it stays in that 5-minute range and it's bouncing around, and you just gotta have it.
Yeah.
Kind of like
So here's Fridays.
Nice.
That one would have went off the low end.
Well, unless you
broke
did a
out,
put.
came out, There's your retest.
Hmm.
Starting to go, losing momentum. But like I said, if you have a plan, I entered once I saw it break here. I don't know. I'm gonna say pulled off on the wick. I got in here. I'm just gonna make it up and just go because doing it live is completely different
Yeah.
from actually seeing it. But all I'm gonna say, knowing how I trade, I would wait, see that wick forming, and I'd jump on a put there if I was gonna try it.
Hmm.
So let's see. That's your 3R trade, right? We always say take profit at that.
Mhm.
And you can see it pretty much got hit right there. Even though it was pulling back, it never hit my stop.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, that's your 1R. I'm sorry. That's your 1R substitute anyone.
Yeah, it looked like 1 hour.
Yeah, that's a 1R right there.
Mhm.
This down here. So you got a 1R trade on that. Let's see if I get a 2R on this. If I was going to hold out. Oh, yeah. It's my 2R. And then you see the price chopping around depending on the contracts. So you could have killed one at 1R. Here's your 2R. Say you got a runner. You could have leave it for 3R. I don't know if you'll ever hit it, but let's
Mhm.
see. If I go 3, it's going to bring me down here, which I don't think Tesla's going to go that far anyway. That's just knowing how Tesla moves. Yeah, I doubt it would come down here, but for representation's sake, let's go 3R. You would have got stopped out all the way here towards the end of the day, the way it looks. If it even does. Yeah, technically, depending if it was the same day trade, you'd be done. It never even hit your stop. But at this point, this is for the 3R, right? But just like the Apple example I was showing Diego,
Mhm.
your 1R was what? Roughly here, 2R down here. I bring my stops down. So at that
Okay.
point, I'm bringing all of it in to maybe here. Where's my 2R? Let's just do it. Oh, of course, it's going to do that. I think it was right about here. I think it was the 2R, right?
Yeah.
We're a little bit lower. I got to redo this. Go back. No, it was on this one, this little pump right here. So that's my 2R. So actually, then I might have locked in my last runner right about here. Or I could have even went at this swing point right here. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
there's my next higher swing point. If it comes all the way back here, I want to be out. So we're going to pick that. Guess what? I would have been stopped.
Mhm.
So I already took a 1R. I took a 2R. This is my runner. That still ended up in profit because that's what I risked, right?
Yeah.
So it's still a good trade. Then you see it just chopping around. Okay, leave it alone. Stop out of it. Why do you have to keep trading?
Yeah.
And since you brought up Tesla, I'll give you a little nugget. On Tesla, which I've noticed for a while now, Tesla will make its moves majority of the time. Obviously nothing's absolute in the market.
Yeah.
Majority of the time between open and about 11, 11:30. That's where you're going to look for Tesla's move. After that, personally, I don't even bother with Tesla then.
So
This zone right here.
Face.
Yeah.
Okay, you say that one more time, please.
I said with Tesla,
Mhm.
what I have noticed, this is my observation, I will see him do whatever major move for a play will be between open right here till about 11 to 11:30. And you can see it off the bottom. Look at the volume. This is a volume. Such a regular one that you guys are used to. Mine's a heat map one, but let's put that one on so it's easier for you guys. Turn that one off. Okay, so you see the volume? Look at that. You have good volume, and right about here, you're dead.
So you're saying
Then-
like 2.5 hours?
Yep, and Tesla.
Okay.
Then after that, just look at the volume. Look at the candlesticks. She's not doing anything. You're
Yeah.
going to get chopped to death on an option.
Yeah.
You're going to get killed. And even you can go back and check it on the charts yourself. Any other day, she will do the same thing. Here's your open. There's about your 11, right, to 11:30 that I mentioned. From this point on, look to your right. What does it do?
Just killing premium the rest of the day.
She's gonna kill you the rest of the day.
All right.
So you think I want to stay in that? Say I got out about here, right? So between here, I got out here. I had a long. Okay. So between here and to the end of the day. So for the rest of the 4.5 hours, I'm going to sit there in the chat, keep going calls or puts, and asking people levels on Tesla. Is it even worth my time? And during that time, how much did it move? I'll be nice and put it up here. How much is that? Between that and here. So you got 348, let's call it. And she went to 355. Is that any type of real move? Yeah, if you're playing a share, it's not bad. Long dated option, yes. But as you guys know, most people in the chat don't do long dated options. They're all doing short dated weeklies or 0 DTEs. So you're just going to get killed in this. It ain't worth it.
Premium burn.
Mm-hmm. Because whatever you made during this point, you lost from about here all the way to here. So you got to offset that. You're not going to end up with much. So I don't play Tesla a lot because honestly, I don't particularly like its price action too much. It's been really wonky, other than the big pump it had after the election. But if you go before the election, I personally, I'm not a fan of its price action. But that is one thing I've noticed. Between that time, you'll see you're done. And a lot of professional traders, they're done between that 9 to 9:30 to 11:30. They're done for the day. Because that's where your most volume is. You can go to any day and you will most likely do that unless there's a major news event or something happening or a data drop like Papa Powell speaking or something, some major FOMC announcement. Other than that, you're not going to see it. So let's see. There's Tuesday, 9:30. You see the volume candles on the bottom. And here you are. After that, you chopped. But it's really not much volume coming in. And this day, you might have had some. Looks like it would have been okay. But even then, it didn't move that much. Between, morning? If you say you played the drop off that level, which I had marked, I probably would have. And say I killed it. You got that in roughly an hour and 40 minutes if you were in swinging intraday like a lot of you guys do. But for this trade, you would have been in it for 4 hours and 30 minutes. With a lot of sideways chop. Because mind you, this is a 1 minute chart I'm showing you. So this actually probably looks worse on a 5 minute. Yeah. Here's that same area. Look at that. This is all it's doing on a 5 minute. Just bouncing around, goes up, pull back, drop down. Looks like a nice little liquidity sweep down, rounded bottom. She starts moving back up. You would have got destroyed in this. All right, we got a little off topic on that, but Diego, did I answer your question? That worked?
Yeah. A little extra question on that. You didn't mention pulling up to break even at all. Is that something that I should start with first? I know you mentioned going up, like bringing up your stop to 1R, then 2R, and so on. But how does how often do you do break even where you just you leave it there until you'll raise your stop till break even and then keep your target at like 2R or something, right?
It really It's not an absolute answer for that. I can tell you, like, hey, you hit your 1 hour, bring it up. Hit your 2 hour, bring it up. It's kind of reading price action, like what you saw me do on your trade right here.
Yeah.
So if I was, let's see, you were on the 1 minute, so let's go
Yeah,
back.
because I noticed if you had like brought it up to 1 hour, you would have gone like stopped out if I had raised all of them up to 1 hour.
Okay, so on this one, I'm reading this price action. I hit my 1 hour, right? I
Yeah.
see it pulling back, so I'm not gonna raise my stop right now. I'm gonna
Okay,
leave it
so
where
you
it's
don't
at.
raise it automatically as soon as you.
No, for
Okay,
no. That's why I said I look at price action and then make that decision.
right. All right.
Okay. Now, when I see it pump and say come up to this 2R, right? So you would have
Mhm.
hit your 2R right there, right?
Yeah.
You would have hit your 2R. On that one, on this candle, you would hit the 2R. We took one off, for example, right? I'm leaving the stop on the belt, remaining two. I see this nice big candle. I hit my 2R, right? Now on
Mm-hmm.
this one, I could decide maybe take one contract off because remember we got three. But I'm like, that's a pretty good candle. Came in with a little bit better volume than the previous 6, 7 candles. I think it's got a shot to go. At this point, I bring my stop from down here to either break even or even the 1R. So my
Okay.
remaining two will be set at 1R. So it's a matter of looking at the price action and deciding. It's not a hard rule for me. Even when I swing shares, I'll do the same thing. If I see it's really pumping, why should I take it? Just drag my stops to pivot point. So my stop could have been here then, right? Could have been at 1R then.
That's what you
Once
were
I
doing
see it,
prior,
once I
right?
see it push off again right here and start going up here, I didn't take profit yet, but hey, I see it pushing. You know what? Let me bring my stop from here just below the next swing point I see.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
So, there's a little bit of reading price action and judgment you got to be able to do.
For sure.
But if you're a brand new beginning, and obviously I understand I've seen thousands of these charts by now, so I kind of do it on the fly, looking at it. I would tell people try to figure out a template, get used to figuring out your trades this way. And when you have 2, 3 contracts in the beginning, take them. Take your 1R. Hits your 2R, let it hit, take profit on it. The last one, you want to see if that can run really. You know what? Drag your stops up to break even, 1R at least. Let it go. But I would say at least get your one off the table first. Why? If you get your 1R, right, on that one, so that's basically what I mean by I'm getting my 1R is that 165. Oh, it's already there, duh. So the 165 I made, and how much total investment capital? 140. Right? Everyone with me on that? This is how
Mhm.
much I have in play. I just got my money back by taking that. Got a little profit. Whatever I put in the trade, I'm already in. So once I go green on this, take it. Why? Now the rest of them, that's fine. Let them go. They're gonna run. They're gonna run. If not, I'm gonna get stopped. At least I break even, right? Based on what I said. Once you kill that off, I'm dragging my at least to break even on my last 2 contracts. So at this point, I'm not gonna lose anything, am I?
Nope.
No?
Nope. But what do the Hopium guys do? Oh no, man, we're gonna shoot for up here, and I see price break, and it went all the way under low of day. I'm still in it. She's gonna go.
Uh-oh.
And that's where you see the postings of the Discord with 70% loss, 80% loss, 90% down. Should I hold? And I'm sitting there scratching my head looking at it. And yes, you'll see me occasionally troll because I'm just like going, what are you doing? Why would you let your play go that far down?
God.
So is it possible to like at your break even price, that means you're coming out at zero, right? Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
you didn't lose
On my
nothing.
remaining. After I took
Okay.
my 1R, yes.
Yeah, okay. So if I move my stop losses right back to like
On this
zero,
one, there.
yeah. Okay. So
Yep.
because I don't know, for me, it's like I don't get it. Like if I want to set it at zero, okay. But if I'm already up and it's coming back down and it's gonna hit my stop loss, sometimes I don't care. I'll move it up like
Yeah.
$10 just to make
Yeah.
$10. I don't care if I don't want to be zero, you know? Even if I already made it.
You are absolutely right. That's why when Diego asked, I said it depends on what I see price action do.
Okay.
So when I
That's
saw it
makes
push off here, I'm not even gonna wait for it to try and hit this. I want my money.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
bring it up here. I'm like, hey, give me at least a 1R
Okay.
on my runners if it's gonna
Yeah.
pull back on me
Mhm.
that badly. But over here, the price action was pushing pretty good. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna take profit. I'm gonna just bring my stop up.
Yeah, I
But
kind of
if I
move my
see,
stop. I move my stop to like if I'm scalping like in the morning and like
yeah,
the stop starts moving, right? And I'm up like whatever, say I'm up $50 and I go and I'm like, okay, I'm okay with $50. I'll move my stop to that. And then if it takes it out, it takes it out. And then I just because it's early, so then I'll either wait and look for another trade in because it's still I could see the stock's kind of just bouncing, you know. So it took
I
my
could.
money. That's
That's
kind of what
okay. That is okay if you see it's gonna be choppy once you got
Mhm.
in.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would highly recommend when I tell people in the chat all the time, trade your setup, let your stops prove you wrong.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
Because what would you have done if it pulled back? You came up here and you had multiple contracts, right?
Mhm.
You're up $40. You see it drop.
Yeah.
Man, I'm down to 20. And you
Mhm.
killed the trade right there.
Mhm.
You would have missed out on all this.
Right. Yeah.
Why?
No, it
Because
happened. That's happened. That's happened where I seen, oh, I could have stayed, but yeah.
you're not believing in the setup in your trade.
Okay.
If you take proper setups, let the stop prove you wrong.
Mm, okay.
What
Yeah.
people tend to do is they do the opposite. What I mean by do the opposite, they do something like this where they'll say, oh, I'm going to shoot for up here, but then price action reverses on them down here. It'll make it there, man. Don't worry. It'll get there. You'll do it by the end of the day. And then they'll start asking, hey, what do you guys think I should do? No, wrong. You should be doing the opposite. I want this tall, and I don't care if it runs up to here. Even better.
Yeah.
Because you're killing your profits too soon then. I've said it in the Discord, and I know Mario has said it a million times as well. And obviously he's my mentor. So, but it makes a lot of sense. Let my stop kick me up and tell me I'm wrong, number one. Number two. Number one really is, in this entire trade setup that I went over, what's the only thing under my control?
How much you lose.
This.
Yeah, you stop.
Nothing else. The market could go here, pull back on me, could shoot up to here, chop me out, whatever. This is the only part I control once I get into a trade. That's it. Nothing else. If Apple wanted to take off that day and take me to 249, 250, I'm all for it. And if I saw that happening and I was watching the thing, I would just keep moving my stop up, following it up. Day trade meaning. Well, swinging, it's a little bit different, but yeah, for day trade or scalp, yeah, that's what I would do. So if this is the only thing I can control, why am I going to play with this and say, you know what? Oh, it's coming back. I'm going to lose more. I'm going to lose more. I'm going to lose more. Oh, guess what? She broke that. She probably would have came down a lot harder. Yep. Your next level would have been about 236 or so, 237. So I'm going to stay in this, what, until here? Are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't make rational sense. You guys are, when I say you guys, I'm generally speaking, so don't take it as I'm talking to you, but you guys are quick to kill the profits, but slow to kill the losses. When it actually should be the other way around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can understand that. Yeah.
You have some questions in the chat.
Oh, let me look at that chat. Great session. We gotta head out. Do you do a 0 DTE with your 7 to 1? 7 to 1. I'm not sure what that means, a 7 to 1. How do you learn to trust the level you enter? Enter ZG, always remember going in. If you're new to option trading, don't do 0 DTEs, period. That's the number one thing I'm going to tell you on that. Stay away from them. They will destroy you. Because the only time 0 DTEs are ever good, actually, and I do it sometimes, I will sell options, not buy them. Or if I have a really volatile move that's occurring, then I might. That I'm anticipating a major volatile move and you're quick enough to scalp it, then I will use it. Otherwise, I personally barely even do 0 DTEs. I will sell them, yes, collect a premium, because the theta decay is so high, it makes me quick money. Let's see. What platform do you trade futures on? I do it off of TradingView. On TradingView itself, I will connect it like here with a panel. So I'll connect it with a broker like Tradeovate is what I use. Can we talk about leap options? Leap options, that could be a whole series on that. Orb is best. Can we look at line ticker? Which subscription do we need for TradingView? You can start with the free one if you're brand new. Once you get better and you understand how to use all different types of indicators and other stuff and backtest, I have a premium version so I can do bar replay. I can also do a strategy tester. So I can load a strategy if I want. I have some personal ones which I run, which you can code and it'll go back in time and run it for you. So I would say start with the free and then work your way up as you get better. You don't need a full blown one. Let's see. Is the R3R? Yes. Pre-recorded videos. I will post this once it's loaded in Scout Moves, and I'll post it on my YouTube as well, so everyone can find it. I think I answered everything for the most part. Hope. Look into Baba and Tem. Baba. Who asked about Baba? Are you looking to day trade that or swing trade it? Whoever put that in? If you're still on? No? Okay.
Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, yeah, Baba's got earnings this week, so if I want to trade Baba this week, what's a good entry point for me?
You want to trade Baba and you know they have earnings.
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this. How long you been trading?
Been doing options for about 3 years.
For 3 years?
Stocks for like 10, yes.
Okay. So you're going to do options on them? Or are you doing shares?
I do options. I do options strictly now.
Okay. So do you know what IV Crush is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're a gambler. Good. I'm gonna make sure you send me your Discord name so I can check on you later.
We're all gamblers here, man. That's what we're here.
No. Ain't no we in that.
He
The
said I don't speak
gamblers,
French.
I can tell you one thing. In this Discord that I've been in for nearly 2 years now, the gamblers, they come and go. That I can promise you. That I can promise. They come in waves, they blow up, they leave. Very few, a couple, select, they still around. But majority, they come in waves. It's like high school. You know, they do that 4 years and they gone. They don't come back. The pros and the ones that really know what they're doing, I can tell you which names those are, and they've been in here and they're still in here. I don't gamble on earnings, period. Think if anybody knows me in the Discord, they should know that. Right now,
Loves to gamble, bro. For real.
it's pumping pretty hard right now at the moment. Yeah, she took off pretty nicely. My question to you is this. I could tell you right now, it's got a shot to shoot up. Is that completely possible? Yes. But it's already kind of overextended, honestly. And Baba is not one that does regularly very well. If I go a higher time frame, you can see what it's done. Shot all the way up, came back down. I like to use anchored VWAP. So if I went back and let me put my anchor on that. What is that earnings? Right there. That's the last earnings. So she pretty much played with it, stayed under it the entire time up until 2 weeks ago, roughly. And then she moved. Now the question is, can this still go? Maybe. My question to you is, where are you putting your stop?
Well, I normally play earnings after it's been reported, so I don't play them ahead of time, so that way I know which way the stock's moving. Yeah.
Okay, better. Because when you said, "Oh, you playing earnings," I was like, "Oh, lordy." Okay, if you're playing it after, this is how I do it. So I'm going to use a previous one as an example. Let me get back up here. Let's say a 5 minute. Take all this, which I probably would even play it personally because it was in a downtrend. But if you're going to and you wanted to, like you stated, come on, there it is. I use Anchor VWAP. So it dropped earnings. I anchor the opening and I see what it does. Came down, pump, she's trying to come up. Now the problem is I wouldn't have taken this trade even if it was going long and bounced off the top of it. And I'll tell you why. Higher time frame, it's been heading down. The white line here is my 5-day moving average. That is sloping straight down. So my bias is already to go short. Actually, I should have came out that candle, which is the earning candle there. There it goes. That's how I would play it. If you wanted to, came up here, bad earnings, tapped, I would have entered right there for short. Mind you, I'm day trading this, so I might put it right about there, trying to shoot for a good ratio. And you can see you can easily hit 2R, 3R, watch price action.
Asked to sleep.
And then if you wanted to, pulls back, I'm still biased short. Why? It's been in a downtrend in the higher time frame. 5-day moving average still sloping down. Earnings wasn't good. Every time it taps this, I'm looking to short it.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Anyone else got a question? Yes, no, maybe so.
Can you, because you were talking about Apple earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it had been going up, you know. I just wanted to know if you have any levels on that. on a day, not longer, but like, within the day or week.
We can take a look at it. Uh, 240. Okay. So let's start with the week. Okay. So this is from my weekly, right? I'll probably this for something. Okay. You know what I should do just to make it take everything off. All right. You want to know about Apple? You want to know what like levels or
Yeah,
what are you trying? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to swing trade it? Trying to day trade it?
like kind of a day trade, yeah, because I went up a little bit already, and I don't know, kind of. The reason is I was like, I don't know where I got in when it started reversing a little bit. I was looking at the wolf chart and it had the arrows, and I've been checking it out. So I got in,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't let my stop loss like prove me wrong, and I got out because it looked like it was gonna. I didn't want to. I got nervous, in other words. But if I would have held on, it just kept going, and kind of was like a learning lesson in a way.
Okay.
But now that it's going up, I'm like, okay, it's still going to move. Everything's kind of moving up. I don't know, like as far as like Tuesday, what's going to take place, because to me, and I could be wrong. It's like the other day when DeepSeek came in, everything just shot down, right? The only thing that was going to save anybody is a stop loss if they moved them up,
Or if David had one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, or that's what my whole point of it, because some people don't, right? Or they're
Yeah.
like trading it right there, everything's going up, everything's fine. They're not as like quickly to put their stop loss because they don't see nothing. It's like you don't know what's going to take place.
Yeah. The Deep Six was right about here when the market gapped down
Yeah,
and kept going. So
and
that
that's
was
my
right here.
yeah,
And
that's my
this
thing.
is on
That's
the
my
weekly.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's my thing with the word gamble, is that to me, I mean, I haven't been doing it that long, over a year or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it seems just to me personally, it seems like it is. I know the probability, like you set your charts, you got your indicators, you look at this, you look at that, you back test, you
Mm-hmm.
got do the orb. But to me, it still is, in a way, all a gamble. That's just my personal opinion.
It's a gamble if I put it in there and my risk is not defined.
Yeah.
If I'm controlling my risk and I know where my trade idea is wrong,
Right. Yeah.
that is not a gamble then. A gamble is Apple's going to go to the moon. Tesla's going to go to the moon. Master's going to hit $1,000. I'm going to
Yeah.
go in 10 contracts. I don't look at the chart. What did it do? Biggest
Yeah.
thing to
Well, yeah,
realize that's where it doesn't become a gamble. Now I'm playing probabilities. I'll give you an example. I'm looking at a weekly chart. This is how I would go through the motions real quick. I look at the weekly, and in any trade, you have to know where the stock came from. It's like, what energy did it use? What did it do to get up there? Right?
okay.
So from a
Okay,
weekly,
I'm writing.
I can,
I'm writing, man. I'm writing.
all right, it's recorded too, so you can go back. I'll post it. I'm going to look at where the chart came from. From a weekly, I can say, hey, you know what? It's made a nice little run. Had a nice big dip off the weekly, running up. Pulled back. So if I was going to do this, here's my market structure. Now, from here is the question, right?
Yes.
Is she going to pull back here, or is this going to keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
That's what we don't know. Now, What do we do so it's not a gamble? You can say, hey, it's going to keep going. It's going to take out the high and keep pushing. Maybe, if you're thinking you're long. Let's drop down to a daily and see. Here's your daily candles. And I got through the same process. I'm going to look. I don't draw on them, but just to show you guys,
Yeah,
this is what I'm looking at again.
I do. I draw those sometimes.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. I just eyeball them now. But this is what I see. Same thing. Is she going to keep going?
It's a nice W move.
Can be. Or
Change the structure.
the question is here, if this move you're calling a W move, let me show you something. You think it is, doesn't like it tomorrow. Now it's no
Yeah.
longer a W move.
Yeah, hit that support.
Possibly. Or it could do this. That's possible.
Yeah.
These are things you have to anticipate for. This is where I say now it's not gambling because you see what I'm doing? I'm checking all my probabilities here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it fakes you out, sweeps out that high, and says bye.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you a bunch of scenarios.
Right.
What I do then when I'm on the daily, I put my standard, my ribbon on. I mostly have 20, 50, 100, 200. Occasionally, you saw me just change that. I will check the 150 every now and then to see if that works better with that particular stock.
I don't think I ever used a ribbon. No.
Yeah, the ribbon is for you guys that have TradingView. You don't have one where you can have like unlimited or 20 indicators and all that. And no, I don't trade with all these on, just so everybody knows. I
Okay.
use them when I'm doing my planning on the weekend or the night before. I'll use different things to look at stuff to get my trade idea down. I do not trade with all these on. But this ribbon, what I like about it is for those guys that have multiple moving averages, this particular one, you can use SMAs, EMAs. It's all in one indicator. All it does is I just change it to whatever I want in here.
Oh,
So I
okay.
have mine locked down to daily. So instead of having 1, 2, 3 indicators, I've seen you guys use 20, 60, 200, 9, and 21, or whatever different combinations. I don't trade with EMAs. So you could use one indicator that has them all for you. So basically, you're not using 4 indicators, 3 indicators. You're using one that gives you the information of 3 or 4. So this is a good one to have. So I'm looking at the daily, and what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to say, okay, here's my structure. Looks like it made a low. Try to make a high. Or it could try and push up. If it doesn't, basically what's happening here then is a lower high, lower low. Question is that a higher high or a lower high?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'm looking at is 200 pointing up. Okay. Right here is my 10 curving underneath it. And how do I know that? I just, by the colors. This is what I'm looking at. There's
Yeah.
my 20. That's my 50, 100, 200.
Mm-hmm.
So my blue, it broke above on Friday. Let me make it this way so it's easier for everybody to see. Broke above my 50. It's above my 200. Right now, I'm leaning bullish on it. What I like to do is I use a 5-day to give me a medium short term, if you want to call it, depending on what time frames you look at. I use a 5-day to tell me the last 5-day momentum. It's pointing up. Not that it's just above it, but it's pointing up. So
Mhm.
right now, my bias is bullish. I'm
Mhm.
not going to be looking for puts right here.
Mhm.
Why? I'm going to go with the trend. Short-term trend's telling me pushing up. 50 is kind of flat though. So this is not like a high probability, to tell you the truth. But current momentum's telling me, hey, he's got a good shot to take this out and go higher. I'm going in bullish.
Mhm.
Okay.
So probably then, well, I mean, if it happened to go above that the gray resistance,
Yeah, you
then
could use that. I mean,
to go above and then say, okay, I'm going to go long or,
correct.
okay.
That would be one way you could mark it off and say, I'm going to look for that level there.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh.
maybe it pulls back some. It's completely possible.
So if I,
That's where.
if I got in the 247, just, not, just as example, then like
Mhm.
probably below that, would it be that green, not below the green candle, right? It would be more, you go set your stop loss more like on the 5 minute or,
Right. If you're looking at a day trade, right, on this one. So what do you usually use? 5?
well, it
15?
depends. I'm like, depends on the stock and like what I want to do.
Okay. So tell me what you would
So
do on this one. You want to go on a 5 minute?
yeah, the probably like it'd be more shorter.
Okay.
More
Let's
like
go to a five
intraday,
minute.
maybe, it wasn't the last time I got in on the bottom, like over there when it started going up, then cause I seen the chart, I'm like, okay, let's see, how it goes. And it was
Okay.
going, but then I seen it bouncing around. I go, let me just get out. I didn't hold it long enough.
Okay. Here's your 5 minute. And I marked that line from the daily. So let's take it off. All I do is go left. And I can see right here, it pushed up.
Mhm.
And this is a good spot. If you wanted to check, you could probably use something like an order block detector. But I can see it right there without even having that on there.
Uh,
Why? Do you see what type of push that gave on that day? When it got right here, it rejected so hard it didn't even give you a pullback, basically.
mhm.
She just kept running back down. What did it do? Went right into the 5 day moving average right here.
Mhm.
There's your 10, 20, there's your 50 marked off. And you can see that one held. You see how price reacts around those areas? Look at it. Beautifully. So for me, even without an indicator, I mean, you could do it with this if it helps you chart. Use that. But what I do with the indicator is something like that. And then I'll say, you know what? That's a heck of a spot where price rejected. I'm going to make that like this. I'm going to shade it red, whatever, for myself. Extend right. Okay. So there it is. I'm going to manually mark it. Take it all off. So there's my spot, right?
Mhm.
That's a critical area that I see. This is a 50. So I'm not going to mark it off because I know why it's reacting there. And for me, I use, like I said, the daily moving averages a lot, and you can see how price reacts with it. So for me, they're very good areas that I watch price action. So now we're going to go to current times, and I'm going to say, hey, oh, look at that. Came right about there, rejected,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Chopped around the rest of Friday, try to make a run at the end of the day, got rejected again. Now, over here, this is where reading price action comes into. Okay. I got a level marked. This is my white 5 day moving average. You see that?
Yes.
Still curving up. Correct?
Yes.
Now, what I see here, price action, if I just want to draw that out, my little, there it is. This is kind of wonky, but it's more or less doing this. And the reason it's not that clear when you're in a lower time frame, and there's a lot of consolidation, which is good. So if you're going to play this, you see this here, and then you have this consolidation area right here.
Yeah.
Push up, makes its move, consolidates, push up, consolidates.
Mm-hmm.
So based on what you see here, mind you, I have no other indicators, nothing else. I'm just reading what it's doing. So based on this pattern from here, what are you going to expect this to do? Try and push up?
It's gonna try, but it's been hitting it. See.
Okay, you're right. That's what the pattern is telling you what's going on, right?
Yeah.
You can say it pushed up, made a flag, pushed out. You can call it whatever you want. Did the same thing here. Push up, flagged, moved, right?
Yeah.
So right now, I got to break a structure, which I also have on here. It consolidated up here. So personally, for me, what I would be looking for, I'm going to be looking at pre-market to see where we open. Are we opening up here? Are we opening down here? Say we open down here. I got a decent demand zone here, right? Because it consolidated all this
Mm-hmm.
and it held. I'm going to see if it holds here.
Yes.
Maybe it might undercut it, give you a nice sweep, because there's a bunch of stop losses down here. I'm not the only one who's seeing this. So it wouldn't surprise me if it pushed down here, even farther down, and said, here, you know what? There's your 50-day. We're going to test it one more time and do this.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly in a straight line. It might do something like this.
Where's that 50-day indicator at? Like, where do you get that from?
That's moving averages, I told you, the ribbon. What it is your moving average, but you see the time frame?
Yeah.
By default, EMAs, MAs will go by whatever chart you're on. So they'll be in a different place every time when you
Okay.
switch a time frame. What I do is I have mine locked in for the day. So it's always based on the daily time frame, but it shows me on all the other time frames.
Yeah, those 50 and the other ones, they're like going horizontal, right? They're not like moving up like EMA.
No,
Okay.
they can. I mean, it's not that they won't, but remember, they're calculating off a daily candle.
Yeah.
So they're going to move very little because this one is looking at 50 days back. This one's looking at 20. This one's looking at 10. The one that's going to move quicker is what? The 5. And you can see it is moving quicker.
Most time the people are using that 52, right? I noticed like they always talk about the 50.
It's the 50 days used by a lot of professionals and hedge funds. If you look at many of the big name stocks, you'll see a reaction to price around the 50, the 200, 100, or 150.
Mm-hmm.
The reason is all these big boys, they use them too. That's why I use them. Because I want to see what they're seeing. So if they're looking to buy Tesla when it takes out the 50, guess what? This is what I'm thinking too. I want to be in with them.
Mm-hmm.
So for me is I don't want to be using all other crazy EMAs and indicators. I want to use what the big guys are using because they got the money. They go in and buy 1 million shares of Apple, Tesla. Me, I'm buying a couple of shares, couple of contracts. Doesn't matter. Everybody in the Discord went on the same trade. You don't have enough to move a candlestick in there.
No, yeah.
So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to just ride the wave. That's all I want. Give me my little piece. So I don't have enough to fight them. So guess what I'm doing? Join them.
Mm-hmm.
I have a
So
question.
Thank you for your help. Thank you for your help.
no problem.
Very helpful.
Yeah. Someone else had a question?
Yes, I was gonna ask. You mentioned order block detector. I'm new, maybe everyone else knows what that is, but what does that do? Because I see where you said you could turn on the order block detector and it became red. Is this some like a support level or some type of resistance? If you don't mind, and my apologies.
No problem. That's what I'm here for. That's why I did a Q&A session. Order block detector. What is an order block? An order block, all it is where there's a large number of orders, enough to cause a shift in price action. That's the most basic definition of what it is. Now, whether that order block if it causes price to go down, that's AKA supply zone. That's AKA resistance. If it pushes price up, that order block is support, AKA demand zone. Same thing, different verbiage. That's all it is.
Gotcha. So right there where it's red, that's a area where it could possibly bounce back off and go downward, correct?
That is absolutely correct.
All right. Thank you.
But that doesn't mean it's going to 100%.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
it's a high probability in that area.
Yep. That's right. Where I was going through the previous question on Apple. What am I looking for? Well, I'm kind of bullish on it, but I know I got all these orders in this area where it's rejected, and it rejected on Friday from there. But the funny thing is, the last time it rejected, this is where I say you guys have to, learn to read price candles. Look what kind of move it gave me the last time it rejected. It just demolished it. Right?
Right.
But if you notice, what did it do this time? It didn't get annihilated this time. Right? Came up near it, broke down, and then she held. So this time it didn't cause the same reaction. Could be different things. I didn't go back and look, but there could have been an event that day. Market was just bad. Whatever it was. Or, guess what? Sellers are getting eaten up that are in here. A supply and a demand zone, the best way for me to describe it to people, and this is where it's interesting. I know people like to play double tops, double bottoms. It did that, and it's gonna go. Well, yes and no. It's no guarantee. Supply and demand zone, all they are a bunch of orders sitting up here. In this example, it's a sell, right? A bunch of orders got taken off on last Thursday, Wednesday, when I drew this out, right? Then on Friday, it tapped in here. So it used up more orders. Came up again. More orders. Sell orders got filled. So what's happening to the orders here?
Oh, those are starting to diminish.
There you go. So if I started off with 100 orders back on whatever Thursday it was when I drew it out,
right.
I'm making it up. I'm talking it's normally in millions, but to keep it simple, there's 100. Got shot down there. Oh, there's another 50. Maybe there's a couple more here. That's probably why I rejected again. Because drawing this is all relative. It's more of an art than an exact science. I did it very quickly. Normally I would do it off like an hourly or 30-minute chart, so it would probably be a bigger area. Let's take a look if I do that. I bet you it would be. Because I normally don't chart off the 5. So I like to do at least a 15 minimum. Or even an hourly. Yep, you can see clear as day. Yep, because if I see into the hourly, yeah. So if I go to the hourly chart, it's easier for me to see this. Off an hourly, I'm going to have it probably about there. Okay? We pushed all the way up. Almost cleared it. So it grabbed a lot of orders. And then what? Boom. Why? Because we see it on the lower time frame.
Right.
You see how that worked?
Right. Thank you. I actually understand it.
So now all these orders got used, and a lot of them did heavy hitters because it just shoved it down the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're coming on Friday. Now that I did it the way I normally do it with a higher time frame, that's why I even did that one session with higher time frame to lower time frame analysis. And this is why. On a lower time frame, I'm looking at this. If I was long on Apple, I'm watching price when it gets around this area because she's gonna pull. Because that's what she did looking back at the chart, right? And that's exactly what it did. Got right in there, rejected, holding, tried it again, rejected. It's telling me there's still some bunch of orders sitting in here. So I need some good volume for this to pull one of these off. And actually, what I need more than that, if I go, where's my path one? Once it gets here, I don't trust it. If you've seen the session that I did on liquidity, this could be a sweep up, take out all the shorts, or take out all the breakout traders that are going long here and rip it right back. This could be a nice little liquidity sweep and rip it right back. Or if you want to stay long and saying, like, because we were talking about how it pushed, consolidated, and was pushing, maybe it wants to continue. Then I'm going to be looking for a break above, a break and retest. Now I'm looking to go long. Now this is what I'll wait for. So when it starts pumping here, I'm not going to chase it. I'm going to wait. Gets down in here, right here, based on whatever the candle structure is. Then I might go long. Right? Depending on what candles appear here, I'll adjust my stop. And then from here, I'm looking to go long. I'm not chasing this. Because if that fails,
I'm looking to see my hat.
Yeah, if it
that
fails,
thing is going on.
that's your rear end right there.
Or she could do one of these. That would not surprise me. There's a bunch of sell orders in here. You take it out, and there's enough in there to push it back down. When this starts pulling down, everybody that went long here and from this area that has their stops, they're getting taken out real fast. So if they went long and their stops are being triggered or you have to get out of your position, what are you doing? Selling, right? You're gonna add to this volume of selling. So this is how you plan, look at a chart, look at various things, market structure, where are the candles? What are they doing? What are they telling me? If you notice, yeah, I have 15, 16 different little indicators I play with just to help me analyze and look at stuff. But this is probably 80, 90% of how I plan my trades. Right here. Let me see what's going on. What is it doing compared to volume?
Which movie is it? Is it what edge is it?
Bruce Almighty.
What edge?
I'm sorry?
Let me see. Can you flash? I see.
Thank you for that explanation, Face. It definitely gave me more insight into paying more attention to that area right there and understanding it better.
Yeah, no problem. If you want more on how I figured out what I explained, then I answered it kind of quickly. Like I said, I did one on liquidity zones. If you want to check that out, that'll help you understand that whole concept there.
Oh yeah, I've been watching a couple of your
Okay.
your videos on YouTube. I'm like 2 or 3 videos in. I'm just work is crazy and stuff, and
No, that's fine.
just trying to make time.
Yep. So the supply and resistance, like you said, you take it on those orders. I think of it like a door. You could be the weakest guy in the world or the biggest dude. You kick it once, you kick it twice, you kick it 3 times. What's eventually going to happen? It's going to break, right?
Yeah, it's gonna come off the hinges.
There you go. And that's how I look at resistance zones, demand zones. That's how I look at them. For me, it's not an automatic, it gets in there, go short. Automatic in that area, go long. That's why I say I like to read candles. What are they telling me? What is volume telling me? That's what I go off of. And my go-to indicator is anchored VWAP because that combines both of those things to tell me what's going on that trade. You see how I respected it all day? Even closed above it.
Right.
So I had no reason, the way it looks like, to go short on this. Zero, none on Apple right now. Until maybe if I see what pre-market opens and how is Apple going to open.
Apple just didn't they just do that deal with Alibaba? And if Alibaba is has earnings coming up this week and it reports good, that might affect both.
It could. I'm not a huge fan of Baba. I know a lot of
Mhm.
people play it, and the reason I am not a huge fan of trading Baba. Do you see how gappy it is?
Oh, okay.
I mean, you try to tell me how you're gonna try and trade that
Mm.
with confidence. Can you trade it? Sure, you can trade anything. But I'm talking, like I said, sounds cliche. I like high probability trades, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a
Something
gambler.
with action.
That's not how I work. I try to figure out the best probability for me to hold on to my money. Number one, two, make money. Then,
Show a chart that gives you the indication I'm gonna play this today.
um, how would I do that? My go-tos when I start on a daily is my ribbons right here.
Mm-hmm.
Price has to be above here. I don't like Baba because of this. So let's go back to Apple for kicks. Like I said, I'm gonna look at a weekly. I'm gonna look at the daily. Right now, for me, if you're gonna date, did you ask me for a day trade or a swing trade?
Day.
Day trade, I just did. I just showed you. I'm gonna wait for price action to open to see if it's gonna take this out, do a break and retest to go higher. Um, my day trade, I always use the 5 minute opening range break. So for me, that's an automatic go to. It doesn't matter what the ticker is.
Can you look at Netflix?
Netflix? Netflix. Great push. Okay. So we had earnings and we gapped. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my anchored on that. Real good volume coming in. Held my earnings anchored VWAP and she's moving. Okay. So right off the bat, what I'm looking at is 200 sloping up. My 100 is sloping up. My 50 is my 20 all coming up. Automatic bullish. Does it mean I go in calls tomorrow? No. Now I'm going to drop down. All right, let me see what price action looked like on that day. Same candle area because candles are what? Fractal. I was looking at the daily. Now I drop down in the hourly. Same candle area I'm looking at from earnings forward. So from here, I'm saying there's my anchor. Okay, it's holding. My white, as I said, I like to use the 5 day moving average daily. You see how it held it? Beautifully. All the way through. What I will do probably, I'm looking at the volume, is what I'm looking at here. Boom. Got it back against earnings. That's a nice big green candle. That one's a good one, personally, for a handoff, is what we call it. If you're not familiar with anchor VWAP, I will anchor here because I have good volume coming in. It's a nice push off the 5 day and the earnings. And you see how price came back and tested it. So this would have been a great entry to go long, even though Netflix and this day was down. Red candle. But guess what? It came back to that anchor. Once I saw this, I probably would have went long. But as of right now, it's pushing. I see a good amount at the end of the day here on this one. So on this particular Netflix, am I going to chase this? No. I'm going to wait to see how it opens, where we open. Right now, it expended a good amount of energy going from here all the way up here. Doesn't mean it can't go up. I'm hesitant. Why? I need a good place to put my stop. Where are you putting your stop on this? Depends on where we open. If we open here and it starts pushing up say it opens here tomorrow. We open down, not tomorrow or Tuesday. Markets are closed. We open, we gap down in the morning, we open, and we do one of these moves. That's completely possible. For me, area to watch is this 5-day moving average. Maybe it tests it. Like so.
That will be your entry if you were to test the 5-day.
Yeah. For me, I will use a 5-day right here. It's not an automatic because sometimes you see it'll cut underneath and go. Because my 5-day is telling me pointing up, momentum's up. Here's my anchor. So another area, say it dips down lower, I might watch that.
So I bought a contract on Friday at about 10:30 in the morning, a long 2-week contract out. And I calculated a 20% loss to put my stop loss because I don't have like a resistance zone to, or a support zone. Well, I guess I do kind of have a support zone, but I'm just wondering if I calculated that correctly, if I should recalculate how I do my stop loss on this.
What was your plan when you took the trade? Number one.
Well, I kind of was chasing it because I saw it going up and I saw that it's been going up for, days now. So, my stop loss, my only plan is to have a stop loss of 20%.
Okay. And I don't know if you were in here earlier when I was talking about percentages.
I came in. Yeah, I came in the middle of it, so I didn't.
So your 20%, it could be your stop is here, could be your stop is here, could be stop is here. Why? Because it depends on your contract and your premium. You're not basing it off of structure, right? So obviously it sounds like you were swinging it because you said you bought a contract out a little bit farther. I'm not sure where you got in. You got in on Friday?
Yeah, I got in at about 10:30 on Friday.
Okay, let's go.
When it came down a little bit.
So probably got in 10:25, 10:30, about here.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you got in. We're gonna say right there. You got in at about 10:36, 37 at this, right? Let's make it green. That's where you got in. So you went down for the day. I wouldn't have gotten in there, but okay. Oh, is that Friday? Oops. You said what day? You said you got in on Friday, right? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went too far back.
It was going up and then it came down towards the end.
Right here.
Up the
You
last
got
5
in.
minutes.
You got in right here. 10:25, 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So we're just gonna put it here for now. So you got in about 1041 roughly.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, anchor the beginning of the day. I wouldn't have gotten in there. Reason is this, because I play with Anchor VWAP. It's below the previous day. Or a current day, sorry, VWAP. You could have, I guess, because if you saw the candles holding this line, a little bit riskier. But then the question is, if you're entering here, where's your stop? That's my better question. You entered. Where are you putting your stop? Here? Here? Here?
Yeah. I just calculated. Yeah. Yeah.
So if my stop is there, because I can say, hey, it's holding this, then you probably would have been okay. And then, your risk to reward ratio is right here. But that's kind of tight unless you're day trading it. Why? The daily ATR is down here. Is what, about $25? Right? That's what this indicator I have down here. That's my daily ATR. It's telling me it's $25. So if you're going to hold this overnight for a couple of days, that's what I look at. That's average true range. How much can the stock move in a day? So if you entered 1042, roughly $25. How much is that? Nobody's into math, I see. Wow.
If it goes up $25, it's 1065, ain't it?
If it goes up, I said going down. I figure out my risk first,
Oh.
not my profit.
Misunderstood.
okay. So where is it at now?
So
What- can you
let's
click
do
it?
this again. We're going to do this one. There. We're gonna do
At
Netflix.
1035, so she'll be in a loss.
Total risk tolerance. Let's skip that. And we say you got in at 10. Let's call it 1042. 10 2. And let's take all this junk off. Clean it up. Okay. Got in there. Now, forget ATR for a second. You enter this trade. You tell me, looking at the structure, where would you put your stop at?
It's hard to tell because those are really choppy.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out. Figure
Well,
out
that's
your
why I did
risk
the
first.
20% calculation and just
Okay.
calculated that number.
Right. And what I'm trying to do is go through the same exercise I did in the beginning.
Okay.
Where's my pivot low? Where do you see on this chart that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get out of this because I don't think it's gonna go up. I'll help you. Here's this market structure, right? This is what she's doing.
Okay.
So you got in here. Where should your stop be?
I mean, if halfway down that long line,
Probably.
or all the way, yeah.
You probably
Just
want
so
to
I'm
be
not losing
like
too much.
maybe right here if you're day trading it. Because I can see this area was previous resistance, it looks like. Because I see a pivot here, come down, it hit, pulled back a little bit, and kept going. But that's for like a day trade. Because I'm only looking at a 5-minute time frame. Now, if I go to a higher time frame, let's say I go to an hourly, this is where I have a problem with this trade. Not a problem, but your risk to reward I don't think is that high. Now, looking at an hourly, you see how everything changes now? Your scope, the way you look at things. Now, my market structure is this. You entered here.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have entered there.
That's risky, yeah.
Reason is, if you're entering here, your stop loss got to be under what? The last higher low.
Okay.
Which is here. Now, this is a 1-to-1 trade just by the end of the day. You made it in the last hour only. You see that?
Yeah.
This is what I mean by playing your trades out. And if you want to do a daily, that's probably even worse. Yeah. If you're looking to swing an option contract, it didn't give me a pull. You're going to be waiting to look for a pullback to get in. So this brings an interesting thing. You're up at 52-week highs, right? I have no price action to look to the left because it hasn't gone there yet. This is what you call discovery mode for a stock when it pushes up this high. So there's a couple of ways you could do it. One way I like to do it is you can use a standard Fibonacci, which everybody has in here. I forget. Oh, I have mine up here. You have one in here. You can go to the low, to the high. So off of something like this. Why is mine up? I don't know what I was doing that day. I'm missing something with it. Extend right. And give me a reverse on it. You could do something like this off the daily. took the last pivot, see, to the top of the price action. And then I have the Fibonacci extension to tell me where can price possibly go. So based on Fibonacci levels, I can say it could come up here. But see, before I look at targets, I want to see where I can get in. Say I'm swinging this, right? I want to get in at a good spot. Well, Fibonacci levels, you're going to get these retracement zones, right?
Right.
This is around where I want to possibly get in. 50, 60. You could, if it's really strong stock, it may bounce here. So basically, I'm marking this, then going to drop down to a lower time frame to see what price action is going to do. Because from here, it is possible. Maybe it comes here and goes. I see this occurring on a lower time frame, hourly, 15, 5 even. Then I can say, you know what? I'm going to get long right here. Maybe put my stop under the previous low of the day to make sure it doesn't get taken out, or even the previous Fibonacci level. So it depends on how you trade, what your style and setup is, but whichever way you decide, this is how I'm looking at it. So I can look at a 2-hour trade here and be done. Maybe you want to try all the way up here. It's going to go for the next Fib level. Then I'm going to trail it because that's a 4-hour trade, which is very good. Multiple contracts. Hit my 1-hour, 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour. You see how I'm planning out my trade? But it's based on give me an entry point where I can put a good stop in. That's what I'm figuring out first.
Right.
Then I'm going to figure out where can I get out on this puppy.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That makes
maybe it
sense.
doesn't. Maybe tomorrow she sweeps out, Friday's lows on Tuesday and then rockets. Maybe it says, nope, we're going to go all the way down to the golden zone area on the fib level between those days and then mess around with you and do one of these moves.
Mm-hmm.
Then start. Maybe a sweep down and then rocket up. I don't know.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about. You got to figure out and plan out okay, what can possibly happen? Where's a good area? Say it does this. I'm just going to leave it there. But what I'm trying to tell you is when I see price action on lower time frame start doing this and pushing, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not gambling. Why? You know what? My idea is it did a nice fallback to a fib level. It's staying above this earnings AVWAP. Maybe the AVWAP comes around right here. I see price bouncing from there on the lower time frame. There's my entry. Now I can start playing with, okay, what levels can I hit? If I got in there, and if I just get back to that fib level, that's a 4-hour trade. If it gets up back to this high, previous all-time high, that's almost a 6.5, 7-hour trade. Maybe it really keeps pumping. I bought 3-4 contracts. Now I got a 13-hour trade. Do you see how the same trade that I showed you earlier when I entered here to here? Look at the R difference. Why is that? Because I'm controlling my risk. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, we've been on for nearly 2 hours. Anyone else got anything, or I think we can call it a night.
Who is the creator of the multi SMA you're using?
Who's the creator of it?
Well,
Or you're trying to know what indicator it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Face is the creator.
Huh?
Face is the creator.
Oh.
No, I didn't create it.
No.
I know you didn't.
It's not hard. You can. It's just this one, moving average ribbon. That's all it is. Oh yeah, I've created my own stuff. If I go into here and let's see, strategy tester. Yeah, personals. EMA, VWAP cross, VWAP strategy, we stop loss and take profits on there. So yeah. I've been playing with it and back testing certain things to look at. So I'll be messing around with all these things and just seeing how they react. Can be done, my friend. Anybody can do it. It's a matter of when you put in the work.
How did you position this is the fib extension?
Yes. That is under here.
Oh,
Yeah,
you said-
Fibonacci
okay.
retracement.
Okay, got you.
There is a separate trend-based fib extension. You're welcome to play with that. Another good one is auto fib extension and auto fib retracement.
Do you prefer adding those to indicators, or you just use the one from from the left?
For me, like I said, I use them to plan out my trades, but I don't trade with them on. Very
Okay.
rarely. Something like this, maybe at all-time highs, I might.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, that's what I use them for. Like
For this, I will, but then I'll probably take off all the color. I mean, because I just leave it at whatever default it is. Or what I'll do sometimes, I'll mark the lines manually and just make a note. That's the whatever level. This is whatever. And I'll leave it because it gets too crazy and I'm not worried about all that.
I got one question actually before you leave. So on Baba, right? If you're on leap for, I got leap till 2026, right? Would you say take the I mean, I'm not gambling earnings, but it's like a long contract that I have. Would you say get out of it, not knowing what's gonna happen, or just let
You're
it slide?
talking about a leap option? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have a leap option on Alibaba, right? Strike
Oh,
one.
on Baba?
Yeah.
Okay. For anything on Baba,
I just want to pick your brain on it to see, what I should do. It's a leap, so it's like I still got about 11 months on it.
Okay. For leaps,
yeah,
I go really high time frames.
I don't know, like monthly.
I start out all the way back at a monthly,
right,
and then work my way down to see what's going on. So here's a monthly chart. I mean, honestly, that's pretty stupid price action.
Looks to be coming up.
Yeah, but it also went all the way up to $300 and crashed.
I know, and then it drops like.
So to me, it's like, yeah, you can, but I'm not high up on it to take a leap on it. Why? Do you see major strength and consistency with this? No.
Every time it goes up, it drops. They have like a bad habit of doing that.
Mm-hmm. And you can see it more on a weekly, because I know I've looked at Baba and I've shorted it many times.
It's hard to do that one.
I don't look to go long on it. I have taken shorts though.
I mean,
right here, right here, when they did this, I took this one. I remember. And I was looking for this one too. This is another one I took. Because I know when it came off that bad earnings and it took that pump, she was going to come down. I knew it. She was going to come down. And it wasn't hard to figure out because, I don't need 10 indicators to tell me anything. Here. Just look at the chart.
So no faith in Baba, even though they have a deal with Apple. No faith at all in them.
I have faith in the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, everybody. But the trick is this. Trading is not on faith. It is maybe a minute portion of it. So to me, what is paying me? Not the faith, really. I have to go by what I see.
Right.
So looking
So
at
you
this,
don't believe you don't believe the
something?
deal that they have will have any type of effect to push more towards the upside? Just a question.
Okay, it can be. And my point is this: I'm not arguing that Baba can. Baba can maybe hit $400 or $500. It's completely possible. But I'm going to go off of what I see. What do I see right now? Massive drop off. Do I see some consolidation? A little rounded bottom. Okay. Happening here on the daily? Yes, I do. Did it get over the 200, the 50, the 20? Yeah, but it just did one big booming candle for me. That's it. And every time it's popped, it's pulled back down. My point is this. I need this to start showing strength, number one, which is starting to. I'm not going to say, oh, it's not. But can it hold that strength? Can it get over this level, start closing, and take out I see like a level maybe here. I see a nice level here. By that time, these moving averages, all of them, will start pointing up for me.
Mm.
Then I'll say, you know what? Maybe I want to try and take it long because I see the next area is all the way up here at 169, 170. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: Is Baba a better chart or Apple a better chart to go long to do a leap?
I mean, can you scroll left a little bit?
Oh,
I don't even need to scroll left to look. Here, just
Yeah.
look at it.
And Apple, yeah.
Yeah, just had a problem.
Apple is a better.
Here, I'll make it
It's
easier for
showing
you.
an uptrend.
Yeah, man. There we go. There. You know, this is where I say, like, what do you see on the chart? Well, let's play this. What do we see in the chart? Come on. Take it off. Where'd you go? Daily and daily. Or weekly and daily. So let's make them both weekly.
Damn.
Okay, let's take off everything. I don't want to see squat. Don't give me a moving average. I don't want nothing. I don't even want volume on this. Turn everything off. There, just eyeball it. Which one you want to do a leap on? Let's play gambler today. This is red. This is black. I'm gonna tell you which one I'm putting my money on. If you want to gamble,
It's Apple. It's Apple.
that's my point.
Yeah.
You know, don't go off the hype in the news and the Reddits and even the chat sometimes. I'll be honest. Did you see so and so stock? It's gonna skyrocket. So show it to me. Where? What do I mean by that? Maybe Baba does make that deal with Apple or whatever, right? Can it move? If it does, then the price action should show me that.
Right.
Right now, maybe it's starting. I see this start to go. Okay, show me consolidate. Give me another higher low. Give me all the moving averages pointing up. I might get on that trade with you.
Right.
But if I just look at this, and you said, "Hey, I got my last $100 before the angel of death come take you. This is your last trade phase. You hit, you're gonna let you live. Which one I put my money on? I'm putting everything on this. I ain't gonna mess with that.
Okay, Face, what's the indicator you're using for supply and demand?
For supply and demand, like I said, I like to manually look at it, but some indicators I will refer to look at.
Oh, the one that you had there's the one you were using before.
This one, order block indicator by Lux Algo.
Oh.
You can use that one. It's not a support and resistance one, but it does work. Here. It's this one right here.
What about detect?
If you want support and resistance ones, or supply and demand, I have these saved. I have played with these before. I have them available saved. I'll occasionally refer to them just to like double check what I see. So a lot of times I'll put them in here, take them off, put them back, whatever, just to see like, hey, did I miss anything? So you can do like this one, and you'll see it does it like this. The one you see with the trend line one, that's this one by Lux Algo. That's where you'll see this, which I will refer to at times. You can do that. So, I mean, there's a million of them. So, finding an indicator is not the key. the key is, do you understand? Do you see it? And then if you notice, I use the indicator just to back up what I see.
I'm just asking this question to the pirate because I think he left already, but he asked it in the chat.
Yeah. That's fine. I mean, nothing wrong with it. You can leave it on here. I like my charts cleaner. So what I'll do is when I plan, I may turn them on. I swap in different ones in here. You know, I'll throw them in there and look at fair value gaps, inversion, fair value, liquidity voids. I mean, if I sat here and turned on every one of my things, that chart is going to be absolutely bonkers. There's no way you're going to trade on that. I don't care who you are.
Okay,
Here.
I have one more question.
I mean,
hey, hold on, bro.
One more
This
question.
kind of reminds me of the wolf chart a little bit.
I mean, yeah, they use a lot of different indicators that are combined in one. Ain't nothing wrong. I have a lot of the same ones that I referred to. I personally don't like trading with them on. It's just a preference.
Right.
I don't. I'll use it to plan and look at stuff. Yes, that's why I have them here.
Yeah.
And you can see I have them a bunch of. You see how many I have favored?
Right. And they just turn them off, once you already have your
Because why? Because it goes back to what I said. I plan my trades out.
Right.
I don't wait to come in the morning. Let me look at it and see what everything. No, I go in, I figure it out, I look at it and be like, okay, this is what I want to do. Price gets here. I'm doing A, B, C. Then I'm putting my stop here. I'm going to look for it to take out this all-time high. I'm going to look for it, intraday. I'm going to look for it to take off previous day high, a swing low. Maybe there's a fair value gap, whatever it is. That's what I'm going to target then. So that's why I have them all here and I have them all favored. I have nothing against indicators. Don't get me wrong. I use it to plan on my trade. I just don't trade with them. I don't rely on them. I have them help me do my analysis.
So kind of like an assist.
It's an assist.
Right.
Because I'd be like, hey, you know what? Like, I'll give you an example. We're looking at this chart. You know what? There's a good bunch of sellers here. There's got to be a bunch of buyers here. Say you're new. I mean, I know there is. You want to use this? Oh, you know what, Face? You're right. There it is. Okay. So this just helps me confirm what I'm seeing. You see what I mean? I also know there's some fair value gaps on this chart. So where are my fair value gaps? Right there.
What is that?
What is what now?
Fair value gap.
What is a fair value gap? Fair value gap is a 3-candle pattern. Let me take the other stuff off so it's easier to see and explain. Let's go right here so it's nice and easy to see. You see the wick of that candle right there?
Yeah.
And you see the body down here. That body has no wicks. It pushed all the way up. And this one never came down. Now, in this thought here, you have a bunch of sell orders that never got hit, is the way it looks at it. So what does price tend to do? Come back, fill it like it did later, and then move. But with fair value gaps, it also depends on how you do what we call mitigation levels. Some people say only count the wick. Some say count the body. Which I'm not going to get into right now because that'll be another hour-long conversation for me to explain. But basically, it's gaps in price action where price will come back and test. So between here and this candle, it opened here, closed here, right? All buy, no sell orders.
That's an order block?
Or this is actually a fair value gap in this case.
Oh.
So it tested the top of it. When I saw price action go from hold a fair value gap, most likely you're going to go higher. Once it starts getting into it, like if I was going to go into this lower time frame, most likely once it gets past 50% of that fair value gap area
of the body.
There's two schools of thought, but yes.
Okay.
If it starts getting into 50% and lower, most likely she's going to try and fill it and tap the bottom, which it did here. Then it'll push out.
So you would use fair value gaps to increase the probability of thought that it's going to pull back to the downside or to the upside, within the next few candles.
It can be. This is a weekly
Okay.
chart, so that's pretty
Oh,
long.
okay. My bad.
Yeah, but even if I did that, I'm still looking at it like this.
Mm.
Because let me see, I think I have mine set maybe to a daily. No, mine's set on a chart on this one. Okay. I mess with mine all the time, so they're never like all the same on those. But like here, that is a massive fair value gap that it did here.
I would normally think it's a.
And you see how it came down? If you wanted to do a 50% on this, that's the midline right there.
Mm.
So that it didn't come in. So guess what? When I see it close like that, I'm gonna check next day where it's opening. I'm going long.
Oh.
Doesn't always work. Keep that in mind.
But
Nothing's
it helps with your
guaranteed.
decision. Like we were saying
Exactly.
earlier.
It helps.
It's
This
a good
helps me plan
assist.
out my trade.
Yeah.
Same thing here.
Gotcha,
It came
gotcha.
back in that fair value gap. This time it went a little bit lower.
A little lower than
What?
50%.
So what is that? If you guys watch my price action videos and liquidity levels, buy order sitting here. She went down, triggered a
Yeah.
bunch, swept, and then go.
That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing what
So it did a nice liquidity sweep and took off. How do I know that? I mean, there's an indicator even for that. I mean, I don't even know if I have it in here. Maybe it'll show it. Yep, it does. Even the indicators tell me that's a liquidity sweep. And I don't need the indicator on, but it's telling me flat out that green little dot right there. It's part of that indicator. But that's what I mean. You should notice I'm not having them on. I have them to help figure out my idea. Does a liquidity sweep right there, so you know it's going to pull down. But you see over here, it's wrong. It came in. It's signaling it should pull back, and it didn't. So no indicator is 100%.
Mm.
Because that's what this is, just so you know. It's from that Luxago liquidity. That's even not 100%. This one, it's right. That one is kind of right. This one is wrong. You know, if you look farther in the chart, she pushed up massively, and then she gave fair value gaps down. You see that? Massive
Yeah.
fair value gap, pulled in. This one, I think it pulled in past the 50, but then she rejected
it's
hard.
crushing it. It's going past the 50.
Yeah. Then over here, it went lower than that. So it's sweeping liquidity between here, all those orders. Because everyone that went here, what did they probably do when they saw it push off?
Yeah,
What did they do?
They was buying to the downside and it just reversed.
So when they saw this push off, everybody did this. All these people got their stops here. Just like I just said, right? Because that's probably what I would do. So when I see it coming down, I'm not going to call the bottom by the dip. When I see it do this, close under that previous, and then push off with that wick, now you got me salivating right here for a possible pullback to the upside. And that's exactly what it did. She opened lower the next day, not lower than previous day, and she said bye.
Mm.
So I use all these indicators. I have nothing against indicators. It helps me confirm what I'm seeing. But if you notice, my thought process is always off a structure. I always use moving averages to confirm the trend, to make sure my eyes are not deceiving me. Like, hey, am I right to say to go long here? If I was looking at strictly, price action and supply and demand zones, yeah, you could say you could enter here. But most of the time I use moving averages. You know what? It's bouncing off of 200. Yeah, it's a probability to go long, but maybe not that heavy.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Why did I say that? Pulling downtrend, it has not confirmed out of a downtrend yet. It's underneath my 50. It's underneath 100. It just bounced off the 200. Right?
Understood.
There's nothing guaranteeing that she pulls up here and doesn't pull one of these moves and smash me right through.
All right.
Now, price has gotten up here. Now I can say, you know what? She's making fair value gaps. It got over the 100. She closed over the 50 on Friday. Here's the place I gotta watch. I'm not jumping in yet. I'm gonna watch it right here.
Fine,
If it can start moving here and clearing this up, yeah, then I might go long. Then it makes sense.
Okay. Thank you, man. Thank you for
All
this.
right, guys. Well,
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
no
Thank you.
problem,
Have a good
guys.
night.
You guys have a good night now.
All right.
Thank
You too.
you.
Appreciate you.
Night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
How'd you leave? How do you leave?